Okay, so I want to bring this meeting to order, August 8th. We're going to start with an invocation from Carrie Alderson. You can step up to the mic and take over, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Father God, we thank you for the incredible blessings we experience, and just so many of us in this room just live a remarkably blessed life by your goodness and grace. And we thank you for the things that we enjoy in this community, a beautiful fair week last week, beautiful sunsets, relative relief from smoke and fires, we pray. We just give you thanks for that. And we know we also have things in this community that need healing. I think of a couple of people across the street I met in the last couple of weeks. A young gal who's pregnant and a young man who OD'd. And I think of your word that says where there is no hope, the people perish. And I pray that we would have a community that knows how to bring hope. I pray for these leaders here. It says where the righteous rule, the people rejoice. And so I pray for our rulers and our leaders and our policymakers that people's well-being would be at the forefront always, and we would be building a community of hope for everyone. And pray that this would be a place where the young people who are graduating from college wouldn't be turning their backs on, but wanting to come back here and build families and reestablish just such a great blessing that so many of us have enjoyed here in Grants Pass. And so bless each leader, I pray, here tonight. Give them wisdom and insight. I pray a blessing on their families. Give them the endurance and the patience to deal with so many difficult, challenging decisions. And again, we just thank you, and we pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Please rise for the flag salute and remove your caps if you have them. Okay, we'll do a roll call. Victoria?
Here.
Seth?
Here.
Kathleen?
Here.
Eric?
Here.
Rick?
Here.
Pell? Not yet. Indra?
Here.
And then Joel is not going to be attending tonight. Do we have word if Rob's on his way? Okay. All right. First thing before we get started here, we have a agenda change here. We're going to strike appointment C, removing a budget committee member because it's no longer pertinent, and we won't be addressing that tonight. We will start with public hearing. At this time, I will open the public hearing to consider the application as filed. The application.
There's no cross-eyed.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, we're just going into the resolution. I do apologize. I was jumping the gun. So we have a presentation? All right. See, I messed you up too. I apologize. No, it was my faux pas. I apologize. You have the floor.
I didn't catch the football. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing the third five-year consolidated plan, and it's year one annual action plan. Both plans meet all the relationships to the council goals. It's the 2025-2029 five-year consolidated plan and the 2025 year one annual action plan. Strategic plan, expected resources, and projects are going to be discussed in the five-year plan. Activities funded in the year one of the annual action plan. Purpose of the meeting is a public hearing per our citizen participation plan, and then a resolution adopting the five-year consolidated plan and the year one annual action plan. The purpose of CDBG is to provide flexible grants assisting cities and counties in development of viable urban communities, by providing decent housing, suitable living environment, and expanding economic opportunities, benefiting low and moderate income persons. The major program areas are affordable, decent housing, addressing and preventing homelessness, non-housing community development and public facilities, economic development, and public services, which are limited to 15% of the annual CDBG award. These are the national objectives. 70% minimum has to predominantly benefit LMI benefit, low and middle income people. 20% maximum can be used for planning and administration, and then 15% maximum for public services. 5-year goals, which is Exhibit 1 to your background: affordable and decent housing, homelessness, non-housing community development. This is the timeline. In February, we did a survey which we emailed and posted to the city website and also Facebook. April 16th, I met with you for the needs and priorities. June 9th through July 14th, we had the public comment period for both plans. August 6th is tonight, adoption of the hearing, or the plans. August 15th is next Friday, the last day that I can submit everything to HUD. Program year starts October 1, and it ends next year, September 30th. This is the proposed funding allocations, and you have a little bit larger one that I handed out to you. This is the city's third 5-year consolidated plan. It's the first year of the new 5-year 2025 consolidated plan. The city received an award amount for 2025 of $351,555. Currently, we have 2 more months of the 5th year of the 2020-2024 consolidated plan. We have 1 more home to complete using the remaining 2023 funds. We have 2 more homes on the list for rehab for this year, program year 2024. We've rehabbed 19 homes so far this year and 2 facilities. We have $58,000 remaining for public facilities, $14,000 for public improvements for our program 2024 year. Source, the revenue source is CDBG funds. The $351,555 is what's been appropriated for 2025 year 1. And should that award change in the year time, then we will allocate everything and adjust it accordingly. Call to action: you need to open the hearing to the public for any other public comments. Approve the resolution as presented. Approve the resolution with revisions. Keep in mind, if you have any revisions, they have to be adopted tonight because I have to put all of this into the HUD software program and then submit it to HUD by the 15th of August. If a resolution is not approved, then the city will not receive the funding. So any questions?
I'll bring it back to council for questions. Rick and then Victoria.
Thank you, Ann. Could you go back to slide 9?
Slide 9. Which one is that one, please?
One before that. So it shows $58,000 for remaining public facilities.
Yes.
Is there still the opportunity on that for sidewalk improvement? And I think there's
For
stipulations
sidewalk improvements
near
where?
schools.
Pardon me?
Near schools. I think that used to be a requirement. If you did sidewalk, it had to be near a school.
We have another category that we have, which is the $14,000 for public improvements. It could be taken out of that category. The $58,000 is just for renovation of public facilities, ADA improvements, and items like that.
Okay, thank you.
Victoria and then Indra.
I just wondered how to organize, you mentioned Facebook and the city website. how do organizations apply? How do they find out about it? Is it just word of mouth and it's been around for some time now, or are there other means that to get that information out to organizations? I was curious, and then I had one other question.
Okay. We have, we use the city Facebook, so we send everything out that way, and then we post. I also send out information and notices in the Daily Courier, so they have information there as well. And then our website, we have a pretty extensive website for the program.
And it's been around for a while now, so people are aware.
It's 10 years now that I've managed it, yes.
Oh, okay, good. And there was something on page 3 in our packet. I don't know, it's fine, I'll read it, but you may not have it there in front of you in the same page numbers. But it says, if need be, funds may be reallocated to other activities in order to maintain the appropriate fund threshold that HUD requires. And I just wondered if you could tell us about the HUD threshold. I looked around, maybe I just missed it, but I wasn't quite sure what that was, and I was curious about that too.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the entire question, so.
Oh, the HUD threshold, apologies. It says funds may be reallocated to other activities in order to maintain the appropriate fund threshold that HUD requires.
Oh,
And
okay.
Okay,
Yes.
I just wondered what that was.
Yes. 60 days before the end of our program year, which is usually August 1st or 2nd, we have to meet a certain threshold with HUD that we have to spend X amount of dollars, and if we do not, then of course we're behind and we receive letters saying you have to spend this money or you won't, or we'll take it back. So the ratio there is 1.5 to all of the funds, even if it's been committed and hasn't been drawn down yet, and then the existing funds that are there that are available to draw down. And this year, last year and this year, we are at like 0.8. So we're meeting that threshold.
Thank you.
Is it correct, I believe I read that there was no public comment during the public comment period?
That is correct, and we put both plans are out at City Hall so that they can see that there. They're posted online as well, and then I also have, we posted at the library.
Well, you
And
must
it goes
have
on their
done-
website as well.
You must have done a great job if there's no public comment.
No one has issues. So I guess that's good.
Any further questions? Kathleen?
Yeah, Ann, so I was wondering, how many agencies or public service agencies get appropriated for 15%?
We have, we started out really small in 2015, and through the years, we have garnered more partners in the community, and we have 8 right now that we're working with.
Okay, so each agency receives about $5,000?
Yes, it depends on your one funding allocation there. It shows for this year with the 8 that we have, they're receiving $7,533 each.
Okay.
We felt it was more equitable if we just took the 15% dollar amount, as we've done in past years, divided it by the amount of partners that we have, and then that way it comes out equally distributed to all of them.
Okay, and then if that isn't utilized for those, what would be a reallocation to other activities?
If we have, actually the public service, they expend their money probably the first 2 quarters. So we never have any funds left over there. If we have funds left over, then I can reallocate those to Another category, say rehab, more for rehab of our homes, or if we need a little more for public facilities, if a project comes up that we didn't, that we didn't know about, then we can reallocate those funds to those, move those funds around to those areas.
And what seems to be the most needed? Which area is usually most needed, like where often you reallocate to that category?
Mostly we're reallocating to the rehab of the homes. We set a certain dollar amount. We have $150,000 we set aside this year. And depending on the need, I know we send out, September 2nd, we'll begin our open enrollment so people can apply. Then we review the applications. This will be the 4th year of that weather rehab program. The first year we did it, we had 72 applications. And we were not able to do but maybe 10 of those. We receive the applications, we review them, and we try to look for any emergencies like sewers that are broken, electrical, that may be water damage, things like that, that are health and safety. And we do them first. And then with what's remaining, then we go back through the list and we begin to work our way down.
Any further questions from council? Oh, Eric.
I'm not sure if I caught it or not, but who sets the 15% minimum or maximum, I'm sorry, for each individual organization? You said there was a cap.
It is a cap at 15%. HUD sets that. And they set that back in, I believe, 1970.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? All right, seeing none, thank you. At this time, we will open it to public comment. So if anybody wants to come up to the podium and weigh in on this topic at hand, now is your time. Seeing none, I will bring it back to council for further discussion and/or action. Indra.
I will make a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to approve as presented with a second from Seth. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll go for a roll call vote. Indra?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Victoria?
Yes.
All right, passes. Moving on to council action, we have a resolution authorizing city manager to execute a contract with Western Testing LLC for material testing and special inspection at the new water treatment plant. And it looks like Jason's going to lead off with a small presentation.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I do have a very brief presentation for you on this topic. It is a little bit of a different one. This is a contract strictly with a third party to do special inspections and material testing, and we'll talk about what that is. So we're going to provide a brief testing of what it relates to, why they are required, and the importance to the project. And this supports your goal of infrastructure, complete the construction and commissioning of the replacement water treatment plant. Just a little bit of background. On January 15th, you approved the guaranteed maximum price for the replacement water treatment plant. Since that time, you've approved additional contracts to keep the project moving forward. In addition, we've been since notified that we did not receive our BRIC grant, and we were then able to shift gears and save ourselves some money, redesign our intake work, and keep the project moving forward. And on July 16th, you did approve Amendment 11, which is now finalizing the design of the intake structure improvements. So special inspections, what are they? Well, they are tests and inspections performed by a third party, not somebody hired by the contractor, not somebody hired by the owner's rep, but they work directly for the city of Grants Pass, and they are there to ensure that the work that gets placed meets all of the special requirements, that the concrete has the right amount of air, that it has the right amount of slump, that the rebar has been tied correctly, that the anchors have been pulled on so hard and they haven't come out of the concrete. And all of these are very specialized services. that are provided by a very limited number of firms in the area. They are going to include a wide variety of material testing and visual observation of critical portions of the work, as an addition to periodic testing of installed anchors, rebar, and more. They are a key factor in ensuring the quality of the end product at the replacement water treatment plant. Very important part. On June 25, we did release a request for proposals for material testing and special inspections. It's almost a tongue twister. The RFP asked for firm capabilities, previous jobs of a similar nature, and references. We also asked that the firms provide us for costs for an estimated number of tests and of all of the required types and tests. And there are hundreds of types of tests that we asked them to provide. Proposals from 3 firms were received on July 14, and those were evaluated by a 4-person panel, judging both firm experience, references, staff qualifications, team organization, and price, with price being roughly 60% of the score and those other factors being about 40%, because cost is important, but also having a very qualified team. From that scoring, Western Testing LLC emerged as the firm selected to provide the material testing and special inspection services, and a notice of intent was posted on July 18th. The protest period ended on July 25 with no protests filed. A little bit about Western Testing. They have been providing testing services in Southern Oregon since its formation in 1984, so they've been doing this for quite a while. In the past 8 years, they have completed over 1,000 projects for a diverse clientele, both public and private, including multiple water and wastewater facilities. They also provided the overall lowest aggregate cost for the anticipated level of service. And so the reason I say that is we said, we believe you're going to provide 200 of this test, 100 of this test, 50 of this test, but we don't really know what that number is going to be. We anticipate it, but to level the playing field, we get the same numbers from everybody, and then those services will actually be billed on an as-provided basis. Oops, and that one went the wrong direction. Anticipated cost for all of the services is estimated to be $216,387, and as I said, they will be billed on an as-provided basis. So if they don't provide tests next month, we don't get a bill. Funds are available and budgeted within WA 6207, the replacement water treatment plant. We do have that scheduled tonight for your consideration. It should be noted that Western Testing is currently providing work on just an on-call basis. We already had our first calls for testing because they're starting to place gravel. That gravel has to meet certain specifications, so they had to come and get samples of that and get it off to the testing lab. Your alternatives are there, and any questions I could answer for you, I would be happy to.
Bring it back to council. Do you guys have any questions for Jason at the presentation? I don't see anybody for questions. Thank you. At this time, we'll open it up to public comment in regards to this topic. So if anybody from the audience wants to come up and speak on this topic, now's the chance. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for discussion and/or action. Eric.
I move to adopt the resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Western Testing LLC for materials testing and special inspections at the new water treatment plant, project number WA6207.
All right, we have a motion on the table to accept and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go into a roll call vote. Indra?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen? Oh, sorry. Well, no, I'm going to go back to Rick at the very end.
Yes.
He was giving me the evil eye, so I'm going to... Go ahead, Rick, sorry.
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Victoria?
Yes.
I apologize. Chief gave me a little extra shot of coffee there, so I'm a little jittery. Apologize. All right, looks like that resolution passes. Thank you very much. Next resolution on the docket is resolution approving the Affordable Housing System Development Charge Waiver for Mid-Rogue Foundation for Hillcrest Veteran Village. And we have a presentation? Excellent.
Good evening. I'm Amber Neek. I'm the Housing and Neighborhood Specialist here for the city, and I'm going to go over this resolution approving the Affordable Housing System Development Charge Waiver to Mid-Rogue Foundation for the Hillcrest Veterans Village. The relationship to council goals is the goal of infrastructure and housing and homelessness, incentivizing the development of housing. A little bit of background. So City Council adopted this Affordable Housing SDC waiver program back in October of 2022 for the purpose of incentivizing new housing affordable at 60% or below of the area moderate income. All of the SDC's system development charges are eligible to be waived under this program, including water, sewer, transportation, parks, and stormwater. This program provides a 100% system development charge waiver for new dwelling units, which are affordable to households with an income of 60% or less of the area moderate income. And these waived funds are backfilled with the net proceeds of the sale of city surplus property, which goes into a fund, and we have those funds available. I'll go over how much is in that fund in a later slide. The Mid-Rogue Foundation has applied for this Affordable Housing System Development Charge Waiver Program being developed for Hillcrest Veterans Village, which is being developed at 948 Northeast Hillcrest Drive. And this development is creating 36 units of affordable housing available to that income of 60% or less of the area moderate income. With that level of affordability, it does qualify them for that 100% SDC waiver. This development has already received site plan approval. It was received on March 26th of this year, and the development permit was issued in June of this year as well. So cost implications, total cost of the Hillcrest Veterans Village system development charges is $214,172.51. The developer will pay these fees, and they will be then reimbursed by the city. That's how our program works. The funding source to reimburse the Mid-Rogue Foundation is the LB 6388, which as of July 22nd of this year has a fund balance of $557,982.17. Gotta say it twice to make sure I say it right. So call to action, I have a couple, I have the recommended action, a couple alternatives, and a potential motion here for you. Any questions?
Thank you. Bring it back to council. Do you guys have any questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll open it for public comment. This affords opportunity for anybody in the audience to comment on this topic at hand. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for further discussion and/or action. Kathleen?
I move to approve the proposed solution awarding the Affordable Housing SDC waiver to Mid-Rogue Foundation for 948 Northeast Hillcrest Drive.
With a second from Rick, so we have a motion to approve the resolution as stated with a second. Any further discussion? Rob?
Yeah, I would never vote to waive SDCs unless there was a mechanism to backfill them, and due to the fact that we set up a fund for this a few years ago, I'll be in favor of it.
Thank you, Rob. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go for a roll call vote. Victoria?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
All right, passes. Next on the agenda, a resolution approving the settlement of mutual release agreement to resolve Disabilities Rights Oregon versus City of Grants Pass, Josephine County Circuit Court, case number 25CV05989. And we will proceed with the presentation from Stephanie.
Good evening, Council. I'm back before you 2 weeks earlier than we had anticipated. As you noted from the email, I was able to get in touch with the plaintiff's attorney a lot sooner than we thought. So we do have the potential resolution here before you for your approval today. We are seeking the approval of a settlement and mutual release agreement that would resolve the DRO versus the City of Grants Pass litigation. The result of this would mean that the case would be dismissed and the injunction would be lifted. The timeline in speaking with the plaintiff's attorney, he believes he would need about a week or so to likely get the signatures he needs on his end. It would then be filed with the court. Ideally, we would have our parks, the injunction lifted on the parks within 2 weeks. That would be the goal. This agreement would support council's goals of infrastructure by increasing access to and the use of our parks, and fiscal stability by resolving a case and minimizing the financial impact on the city. Just the background, I know we're all familiar with it, but just to make sure we've got that in the record. January 30th of this year, a complaint was filed, and on February 3rd, the temporary restraining order was issued prohibiting enforcement of regulations, prohibiting camping in city parks. On March 28th, that TRO became a preliminary injunction, and again, enforcement of regulations was prohibited in all parks except for Riverside and Reinhardt Volunteer. In that order, the court said that the city needed 150 capacity with ADA compliance. The city responded by opening the additional resting sites and resurfacing to achieve that ADA compliance, and the parties began negotiating resolution of the case. So since May, we've been trying to get this resolved. There's been a lot of communication back and forth between DRO's attorneys, myself, the council appointed by CIS. There's been a lot of discussion both by phone as well as email and meetings. On May 29th, the court approved an initial agreement that was reached with DRO to exclude 7 parks from the injunction. They were taking notice that the city had in fact made steps toward achieving what the court had requested, but because we were still in negotiations, they weren't willing to agree that all parks could have the injunction lifted. But we did get some of them back on May 29th. And we continued to negotiate since that time. The proposed agreement before you, which, as I mentioned earlier, we finalized Monday night, hopefully, would involve no admission of liability on behalf of the city. We would be required to ensure ADA compliant, low barrier capacity for 150 individuals within the urban growth boundary, and potable water for drinking and washing for a 1-year period. And note the word ensure on that. That does not mean that the city itself has to do those things. That means that as long as we are making sure that somebody else is doing it, that would suffice. So the grant program that we are working on, the goal is that we would be able to have that nonprofit take over some of those, and we'd cover that with a grant agreement. It would require us to allow a third party to provide shade at the resting sites around the water and porta potty areas. To develop a reasonable ADA accommodation process, which is required by law. We need to have ADA accommodations anyway. We would be required to offer and award an additional $60,000 grant to a nonprofit for capital development to provide services to homeless. This would be in addition, a separate grant from the one that would help establish a new site for that 150 capacity. And the idea with this is it would be geared towards capital development to actually provide services there, not just space for people to be. And there would be attorney fees in the amount of $85,000. And as we've talked about before, that is a significant reduction in the attorney fees that they originally sought. The cost implications likely come out of the general fund. We'd have to specifically determine where that would be, and we can do that at a different meeting if we need to. We have reached an agreement with the insurance provider to reimburse for a portion of the attorney fees. Because this is injunctive relief, we are not entitled to coverage generally speaking. We did come to some agreement on a portion of it, however. So the call to action is today. Hopefully we can get this resolved. You can also extend that if you wish. Your alternatives are to approve the settlement agreement, reject the settlement agreement, or suggest that we need to go back to the negotiations and we can schedule an executive session for you to provide guidance on how to do, on what you would like to see. There's a potential motion for you at the bottom if you choose to go that route.
Thank you, Stephanie. Bring it back to council for any questions. Kathleen?
So just to be clear, the original attorney fees were a lot higher, and that 60,000 is reducing the legal fees.
It was a combination.
By giving them to a nonprofit instead of paying them in legal fees.
That's correct. They came down some on the legal fees, but then we kind of reached a sticking point, and the compromise was that the additional 60,000 would be to offset, so we're putting money back into our community rather than paying for attorneys.
And are you able to say which parks we're going to be able to get returned to us?
All of them.
So that means Baker, Devo, Kesterson.
Yeah, we will be able to enforce, the injunction will be lifted. We would be able to enforce our regulations as soon as the paperwork is filed and the court approves the agreement. Then we would be able to start down the path of noticing and cleaning up our parks once they've been vacated.
Any further questions? Seth?
So the attorney fees are 85,000.
Correct.
So the insurance company is agreeing to pay 42.5. Does that come out of that 85?
Yes.
Okay, so okay. Cool.
Yep. Technically, we have to pay it up front. They reimburse us for the 42.5.
Any further questions? All right, seeing none. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll open it up to public comment in regards to this topic. So now, if anybody from the public wants to speak on this topic, you can approach the podium now. And your comments should be directly in regards to the topic at hand.
Yes, sir.
Please state your name and go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Shoni Nelson, Grants Pass, Oregon. I hope to God that we can get this going on. So Park Watch and I went out and we were protesting Baker Park, okay? We were above the bridge. We were being good guys, believe it or not, contrary to what's being said about us occasionally. And what I want to bring about is some awareness on the fact. It's interesting that this injunction was brought about by disabilities. Now, the interesting part of that is I saw an individual with a wheelchair below the bridge using his wheelchair as a wheelbarrow. And he was able to run, this is the one that brought this injunction against us, as close as he could to the bridge to flip us off as we peacefully protested, which was next followed by a rock that hit a true handicapped person. One of my friends, one of Park Watch, almost hit her chair. Now I ask you, when do we have safety at our parks? When do we get the taxes that we pay for this protection? And I think, here's my call to action. If it's not going to be there until it is, I think these parks that can't have kids in them, for example, Baker Park, because also while I was up there watching filming, I saw a family coming out of the water to walk across the path where these people are, and they were scared. This is a family. And I have heard, okay, this is not substantiated, but I have heard that there have been attacks down there. And this rock, in my mind, proves that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment in regards to this topic? All right, please state your name and keep your comments in regards to this topic, please. Thank you.
Kevin Gambucci, I live here in town. I have a couple questions as to, the 1 year. What's going to happen after a year? Are we just going to go back to square one? Also, if we have one lawsuit, what's going to stop another person from coming up and going, I'm going to start suing you again? It's going to be never ending. Once you get the door open, it's never going to be closed again. These grants, it makes it sound like it's just free money. It's a grant. The city's paying for it, which means that everybody who pays city taxes is paying for it. This isn't free money and it's not going to stop. I don't understand why I have to subsidize this crap. I just recently learned that the parking lot that they gave up for the city parking, they're renting another spot over here. It's like we're just shuffling money around and we're all paying for it. It doesn't make any sense. It's never ending. It's nonstop. We've got to have something different. This is not working. It's 150. Well, before, I'm not sure what the original number was. Then it's 150. Next year, when more people come, it's like there was few people here. Now we opened it up more and more and more and more. All these sites are packed. Every park in town is packed. They're not going to stop coming. The more you hand out, the more places you open up, it's just a vacuum. It's just going to suck more people in. We got to put our foot down. We need to shut the door and stop this. We're tired of paying this. Why am I working my butt off every single day to support people who choose to do nothing? It's not right. It's not fair to any of us. We've got to come up with something different than this. It's ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments in regards to this topic? Approach the mic and restate your name and go for it.
Hi, my name is Ron Lee. I'm in Josephine County. So really, I have one question. Should the injunction be lifted, has the city already been noticed of another lawsuit? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further public comment in regards to this topic? All right, seeing none, I'm going to bring it back to council for further discussion and or action. Rick?
I'd like to compliment on the progress Stephanie's made on this, and I'd like to make a motion to move to adopt a resolution approving the settlement and mutual release agreement in the case of Disability Rights of Oregon versus the City of Grants Pass, Josephine County Circuit Court Case number 25CV05989.
All right, we have a motion on the table to adopt the resolution with a second from Seth. Any further discussion? Kathleen?
Are you able to answer that question, Stephanie, about any further lawsuits currently?
Nothing that I'm aware of has been filed.
Any further discussion? Eric?
Are we also able to answer the question in terms of what's going to happen with future lawsuits or what's going to stop future lawsuits from coming? If we can speak to that, please.
As far as the future lawsuits goes, all we can do is minimize our risk, and I think that's what we're doing by revising the ordinances, which we did earlier this year, by working with a nonprofit to provide the capacity that the court has indicated is reasonable, things like that. That's the only way we're going to be able to mitigate our risks on this. We're never going to get rid of our risks, but we can reduce them.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Indra?
Yes. I don't think that any of us up here want to spend money in this way, honestly. I hear you. It's, that we work hard. We're supporting people who are unproductive, many who don't want to work. So I get that. Lawsuits, anyone can file a lawsuit anytime. So we have no idea what lawsuits are coming. However, with that said, I feel like we need to take this step forward. It's at least one step forward in a positive direction. It's not as much money as the grant, and we can find that money, and I think that's a small amount to pay to get all of our parks back. And then I think we're kind of learning. We're going to learn what happens after this. So in my opinion, we just take this step. The parks will be cleaned up. We'll see what happens after that, and we'll just have to deal with things as they come. Will it be perfect? No. Will it be better? I think we all hope that it will be better, and so I'm going to be in favor of this.
Any further discussion and or action? Eric?
Just wanted to see if anybody on the staff could talk about the 150 personnel, what's going to happen if type of thing, if there's going to be more than 150. What do we do to mitigate that? Is it a problem? What happens?
The only thing I can say at this point is we have no obligation to ensure capacity for anything beyond that. We can enforce our laws, and we need to ensure that there's capacity for 150.
The ambiguity of House Bill 3115 or S195 provides municipalities two ways of getting clarity when it comes to objectively reasonable. One is through legislative reform and reforming or repealing of 3115, which establish time, place, and manner for cities within the state of Oregon. If the clarity is not there from an Oregon Revised Statute perspective, the way 3115 is written is clarity with regards to objectively reasonable is defined in the individual courts, which there are 27 different circuit courts in the state of Oregon. Ours is one of 27. Our court has determined that what is objectively reasonable is 150 resting opportunities with ADA access and water. So that is a court now, that is our baseline, 150. That's what's defensible as objectively reasonable. We don't anticipate that changing because the court has ruled based on 3115 that 150 is reasonable for the community of Grants Pass.
And Aaron, could you please explain how that 150 came about, if you could?
Well, through the court case itself, the judge determined and made a call that at one point in time, when we had J Street open and we had our other site here open, there was a potential inventory of about 150 resting opportunities. And so that's sort of, I think, how it was done. I mean, I'm not the judge, but basically by reviewing and being there, it was, this is what you had at one time, so this is going to be the standard.
Any, you have more, Eric? Are you, excuse me, can you keep it down, please? Any further discussion? Eric, were you finished?
Yes, I'm done, thank you.
Any further discussion? Victoria and then Indra?
Yes, I'm really glad that Aaron brought up 3115 because it is the reason why we're in the position that we are in. And the Republicans in Salem tried to have 3115 repealed twice this past session, and it failed by, I believe, 3 votes the first time and just 2 the second time. It is a law that must be, I believe, completely repealed, but certainly reformed. And that is something in the frustration. I'm not pushing responsibility onto the public, but onto all of us and everyone in the public to keep pressure on to repeal 3115 and to bring back to local communities the ability to do what is right for their communities, I think, in the future. But for now, I thank the people that worked to resolve this particular lawsuit, and I will be voting for the resolution.
Thank you. Any further comment? Indra.
Yes, I just wanted to further state that once the injunction is lifted, we'll have more leeway and freedom to make other choices and maybe not be so tied down. But also, I want to make clear that the injunction lifted will clear the parks, but it will not do anything with the resting sites. So those resting sites will stay there until we're able to get those people somewhere else. And so being in Ward 1 in the north end of town, I just really want to say to my constituents that I'm so sorry. I've appealed to my colleagues to spread it out, to make it more fair, but those are going to be there for a little while longer. So hang in there.
Thank you. I remind the audience, please, no more outbursts. We want to keep some decorum and keep this meeting going in an efficient manner. Any further discussion and or action from council? We have a resolution on the table that we're discussing. Oh, and we do have a motion to approve. I apologize. So if no further discussion, we'll go into a roll call vote. Indra?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Victoria?
Yes?
Resolution passes. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is appointments. We have 2 appointments. We did remove item C on appointments because it's no longer relevant. So first appointment is to 3 members for the Urban Tree Advisory Committee. And you have a green sheet, if you would please mark, sign, and send down, please. Thank you.
Can
Yes,
I
Indra?
just, since there are 5 openings and only 3 candidates, I would like to make a motion to approve all 3 of these people.
Absolutely. So you have a motion to approve all 3 candidates listed on your candidate sheet.
Yes.
And we have a second? Any further discussion? So we have a motion on the table to appoint Barbara Violin, Michael Cartmill, and Michael Hollenzinger, and I apologize if I butchered people's names. So, and a second on that. Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Indra?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes?
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Victoria?
Yes.
All right. The 3 names as listed have been approved for appointment to the Urban Tree Advisory Committee. All right, your next is members of the Development Code Review Task Force. You have a really bright sheet, if you want to mark them. Sign it on the back, there is names on the back, and send it down. So there's 8 categories, and you do have multiple listings on each category. Some don't have multiple listings, but you do have to appoint 1 person for each 8 categories.
Maybe we can pass these back. So on the voting perspective, there are 8 members to the task force. There are 8 different categories. So there's 1 representative for each category. So we've got, say for the instance, the first one, we have Scott Lindberg. He is the only one. So if you want to appoint him, he's the one. Under licensed civil engineer architect, there are 2 candidates. You appoint 1 of those 2 candidates. For number 3, there's 3 candidates. You make a recommendation for 1 of the 3, and you go down the list. There is currently a vacancy on land use attorney. We have not received an application. So currently right now, once you approve this, we would be approving it with a 7-member with a lack of a land use attorney. So if we could get that clarified with some of you that may have voted for multiple people in 1 category.
These look like they have just 1 on each category. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just kicking back the ones that had multiple on it. I didn't know you missed a category, Rob. Okay. Right there. Sorry, Rob. There you go, bud. Thank you.
This one here, not a double. Not that one calculated.
Just 1. Oh. Sorry. Good job. All right, sorry this is taking so long, but we'll get through this quickly. Okay, so we're going to start with position for licensed engineer and architect. We have a strong inclination for Justin Gerlich, so I'd be looking for a nomination. Rick?
I'd like to nominate Justin Gerlich.
With a second, so any further discussion for licensed engineer Justin Gerlich? Yep. Okay, roll call vote. Indra?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes?
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
And Victoria?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Mayor, I'm
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. Who made that second?
That was Seth.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go through the ones that had multiple votes on them first, and then we can go to the single ones. For local builder, we had a strong, we had 5 votes for, or 5 preferences for Matthew and 2 preferences for Austin. So I'd be looking for a motion. Indra?
I would motion to appoint Matthew Phelan.
Okay, and a second from Kathleen. Roll call vote. Indra?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Victoria?
Yes.
Okay, next one is for residential developer. You have 4 preferences for Chad Hansen and 3 preferences for Gail Atkins. So I'd be looking for council for a nomination. Kathleen?
I nominate Chad Hansen for this.
And a second from Eric. Any further discussion? Nope. Roll call vote. Victoria?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
Thank you, Indra, I apologize. Okay, so everybody else was basically a single member, and so Urban Area Planning Commission representative was Scott Lindberg. Commercial developer was Sean Ward. Land use attorney was none. Local real estate agent broker Michael Cohen. At-large citizen Jeff Smith. So I'd be looking for a motion to appoint those last single members of each category. Victoria?
I motion to elect all of those candidates.
All right, you have a second? Eric? Any further discussion? Okay, so I'd be looking for a roll call vote to nominate the rest single members for each category. Indra?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
And Victoria?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, as circled. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience, audience. Now we go into the point in the meeting for general public comment. General public comment is an opportunity for the public to address the city council on items not related to a public hearing or council action item for the council. The intent is to provide information that is pertinent to the city's jurisdiction. Each speaker will be given 2 minutes to address the council as one body, not two individuals. At the conclusion of the public comment, councilors will have the opportunity to respond. This meeting will proceed in an effective and courteous manner. Citizens and council members will be allowed to state their positions in an atmosphere free from slander, threats, and other personal attacks. Signs or placards, outbursts of applause, campaigning for public office, or other disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. If you have a question regarding any government-provided service or a current city policy, please contact the city manager's office in an attempt to resolve the matter. I believe we have 11 items here, so I'm just going to go through the list. Melissa Hodge? Hughes, sorry, apologize. Come up to the podium and restate your name, and you have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, Melissa Hughes, and I am a resident of Grants Pass. I originally intended to come here tonight and call for the removal of Mike Pelfrey from our city's budget committee. He has now since resigned, and that message is no longer relevant. However, it feels necessary to use this forward momentum to make a plea to the council for a renewed promise to uphold the decorum and abide by the values that hang on these very walls. There should have been no opportunity for the council to even get themselves in a mess like this to begin with. It's no secret that there are people like him who wish to agitate and instigate hate and who seek official positions from which to do so. As your constituents, we should be able to trust that our elected officials will do their due diligence and make better informed decisions about the people that they intend to appoint. If mistakes are made, there should be swift and meaningful action to remove these parties and right these wrongs. I appreciate the time that each and every one of you invests in our city. However, I now must implore you to make sure that the values with which you are making decisions match what is written up there. We cannot have a situation like this again, shedding a negative light on our community and making us look weak when it comes to standing up to bullies. Finally, I would like to end my comment with a quick message from Sammy Nolan with a sentiment I share. Thank you to the sole counselor who had the integrity not to endorse Mike Pelfrey's placement on the budget committee in the first place. Thank you, Rob Pell, and thank you.
All right, next we have Patty. Say that again. You come and restate that because that's an interesting one. I haven't heard that before. Please restate your name and you have 2 minutes.
Patty Budeselich,
Thank you.
and I'm a Grants Pass resident. Mine's going to be really quick, so if you want to give some of your time to somebody else, you can. This was given to me here recently, and it's about the food for children here in our county, or in fact, in our city alone. 23% of the kids in Josephine County live in food insecure households. In 2024, there was only one school food pantry in Grants Pass. In this year, 2025, there are now 12 school food pantries, and all are in the Three Rivers School District. The vagrants that we feed and allow to camp here are actually taking food from the mouths of our children. It makes no difference where the food comes from. There's only so much to go around. I think this is totally unacceptable, and every council member here needs to think about this and start addressing the issue of food. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Gambisi? Please restate your name and you have 2 minutes, sir.
It's Kevin Gambucci, and I'm from Grants Pass. Same as I was talking about before. And sorry, Andrew, to interrupt you, but it makes me mad that when injunction gets lifted and you guys start cleaning people out of the parks, where are these people going to go? There's already a mess. We pulled in here. There's people fighting in the street. There's 2 people laying on the street here, people screaming and yelling. It's not safe. My wife didn't even want to get out of the car. She's mad that I parked over here. It's like, well, where are you supposed to park? This is our downtown. This is supposed to be safe for us. We're coming to this meeting here and can't even get out of the vehicle. And when all these people get booted out of the parks, it's going to be like zombie land here. All the places where they're supposed to be, they're already full. Where do we expect all these people to go? We have all these nonprofits keep on handing out goodies. All these people are going to keep coming. They're coming from everywhere. They're busting them in for free from the coast, from different cities, from Portland. This is actually facts. This is not just stuff that's made up. People are getting bussed here. This is a fact. We've all done the research, and many people in this room here have done all this research to figure this out, where these people are coming from. They're getting sent here because they're saying Grants Pass is a place to go to get your freebies, your goodies, your shelters, and everything else. I'm tired of paying for it. Why do I have to pay for this? It doesn't make any sense. You know, they always tell you to vote with your wallet. I don't have to be here. There's nothing holding me here. I can go anywhere here. I like living here. I shouldn't have to deal with all this crap. These people are contributing nothing to this town, and yet we're all sitting here paying for it, taking the abuse, taking everything that they're giving out, and we have to just say, okay, well, here's my wallet. Do you want some more money? And that's what it's all coming down to. They should either be forced to leave or contribute. We shouldn't just have a spot. There shouldn't be a category to just be, I'm just a recreational camper and I'm just going to suck up every resource this town has. It should not be an option for anybody. Either you contribute or you move on. That's what we all grew up with.
Thank you, sir. All right, next we have Valerie Blackwood.
Oops. Good evening, City Council members. I'm Valerie Blackwood. I live here in Grants Pass, Oregon. And the purpose is to propose an amendment to the current park use rules, specifically regarding commercial activities within city parks, and request the council's consideration in allowing ice cream sales in city parks. In 2019, I started selling an ice cream business in 2018, and in 2019, I was hit by some children, well, young kids, in their car, and they hit my first truck going 70 miles an hour. I got a T7 fracture and I couldn't work. Laura Glover, that was in charge of parks, she put me over in Riverside Park in front of the water park so I could sell ice cream. And I told her, well, how long can I do this? And she said, until you're notified in writing. Well, I was notified in writing 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And it's just, it's really hard because I miss all the kids. That's all.
Thank you. Brian Weldon?
I'm Brian Weldon, County Park Watch member. First of all, I just want to thank you all for all the work that you've done with our park problems in the last year with the injunction. Park Watch has been working, as we all know, for 2 years now, trying to straighten out a lot of the parks. I came to Grants Pass 12 years ago, and the most beautiful thing I saw was Riverside Park and a beautiful classic car show that was every year at the end of July, called Back to the 50s. And there's 300 cars. It was gorgeous, a lot of vendors. It was a wonderful event, which I got involved in because I have an old pickup. Then they decided when Riverside Park went right to the gutter to go to the fairgrounds, because the president told me, we have $2 million in reliability, Brian, and we absolutely cannot get sued by a child stepping on a needle in Riverside Park. Park Watch has worked diligently now for the last 2 years to completely re-renovate Riverside Park. And as because of you all, we now have concerts in the park. We come out and clean up and take care of that for them. The park, Riverside Park, is a quality, safe place for children. We now have our Kids Fest every June at the park. My question to you tonight is, would you be in favor or would you be against Back to the 50s car show coming back to the park at the end of July in Riverside Park? I would really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Bob McGuire?
Bob McGuire. Lived here all my life. And I'm kind of disgruntled about the way the police have not been showing on our non-emergence calls. We call. They just don't show. We get a rock thrown up at her. Took an hour and a half to get a phone call back. I have a video of the individual. I haven't got a phone call back, but I'm going to bring it down to the station tomorrow. I've read 2 things on Facebook within the last 2 days that people have not been notified, contacted, anything from an officer of kids pointing guns out on Redwood Avenue, Redwood area, pointing fake guns and stuff. And you're saying is if you call it, you can give us information or whatever you're saying is,
He says, well, we ought to know about it to take care of it. But you don't mean nothing about it. We need a new police chief. I'm sorry, but you're just not doing your job. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Bob. All right, I got Jordan Mortensen.
Jordan Mortensen, Grants Pass. Well, Shoni actually just pretty much nailed what I was going to say. Thank you for that. But yeah, it is a shame that Catherine had a rock thrown at her. The guy threw the rock. I mean, he should be in football, not, what happened? He was a long ways. And just he basically took what I was going to say, but, just to answer previous comments, the answer really is fund the police. I know it's been a trend in America, defund the police. That's not what we need right now. We need more police funds. Like 2019, I believe there was 58 officers. 2025, 57 officers currently, right? That's a long gap. I mean, we got more population, we got more homeless people, we've got Measure 110, messed everything up. There's a lot of drugs on the streets. People need to call stuff in, we need to get that taken care of. Another thing, with social media, there's a lot of hatred going on, social media, towards people like yourselves. I've been trying to battle it. I need more people to help me with that battle. Because I stand up and, I've had people call me a coward. Well, I don't see these haters. I know they're not behind me. I don't even have to turn around. They're not here. They don't show up. They don't come. So they're just social media agitators, essentially. So that needs to be put to stop. More people need to stand up. Thank you all.
Thank you. Kathleen McGrath? Catherine it is, I apologize.
You always got to take the long way around, don't you?
I'm Catherine Mothy, County. On Friday, August 1st, our group Park Watch held a rally on the bridge over Baker Park to bring attention to how bad that park is. Thank you tonight for getting it straightened out. The police were called, the rock was thrown, it hit the walker I was sitting in. I've heard every excuse, Chief, of why they don't show up. But I want to know, if I throw this rock that was thrown at me and I hit your chair, is that considered an assault? Anyway, I'm really upset with the conditions of the park, and I'm hoping beyond hope that it'll get taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Kirby?
Hi, Chris Kirby, I'm a county resident. As some of you know, we moved here in September from Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz has a bad homeless problem. It's a bigger area, I understand that. I was shocked at how bad it is here. My father-in-law lives here, has for 30 years, so we've been coming here for 30 years. The nonprofits, is there a city department that controls those, or it's all state, it's all through the state? I think there needs to be a group that knows how, because there's apparently 90-something of them. There's a lot of nonprofits in this city, and I think I know they're enabling what is going on. They give free everything. We need a group to monitor them, get them held accountable. If they get so much money, we want to know how much they actually help, how much they're paying in wages, what freebies, and what they do. I mean, do any of you all know? There's a list. We got a list from the county. It's huge. I think the nonprofits need to be held accountable for what they're doing to this city. I think they're a lot responsible. I wish you guys hadn't voted to do what the lawyers want, because I feel like we're giving in to them. It's said for a year. What's going to happen in a year? It's going to be, I don't see it just poof magically getting better. So I'm worried about that. I think you need to play more hardball with them. I mean, I came from Santa Cruz where it's bad. It's really bad. I don't even go downtown there, or I wouldn't when I lived there. It's scary to go now. I carry an alarm on my keychain now, a personal alarm. I went to that Safeway downtown today. It is scary stuff. I carry an alarm on my phone, on my keys, because I'm afraid of something's going to happen. So I know you're all aware, but
Thank you.
it's frightening.
Kathy Millard?
Kathy Millard, Grants Pass. Couldn't help but hear in the prayer tonight, the righteous rule. That is all of you. I do feel like we have been dictated to, and it doesn't stop. It's just getting worse. I agree with the NGOs that Chris just said, and we need to stop bending and be more aggressive to stop the money machine. Are we ever going to be free of more money all the time to support homeless? Drug rehabs need to happen. Where are they for what we are dealing with? We have a number of beds. Where's the number of rehabs? These are drug laws that need to change, not so much homeless as addiction. If we can't get the addiction under control, they're never going to be able to do life in a home. This about the relationship to the council goals on the infrastructure to the parks, we have to modify for the disabled to get into the parks. They can already get in. When does this stop? They're not working. Can we do something with food cards, with state, to stop the money? They've got phones. They know how to do their drug deals. I mean, this insanity, I'm telling you, I'm starting to reel. I see plants hanging in the trees up north town in Kenderson. And where are they going to the bathroom? This is a health issue. I've been on the phone with county, and they pass it off to the city. No one knows who's doing what, and we're going to get sick. So I really hope that what you've done tonight, it takes care of the problem, and you get them moving. But I do want to know where they're going to go if they don't want to go in the camp. What are you going to do? Are they going to get jailed? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, last but not least here, Alex Hyde.
Alex Hyde, Grants Pass. Now that Mike Pelfrey has resigned from the Budget Committee, sparing you from an awkward vote in which each of you would have been challenged on whether or not you truly care about upholding the council's values, I demand that the council adopts a code of conduct to enforce ethical behavior from the city representatives. Pelfrey's disrespectful resignation message, with its lack of acknowledgement of wrongdoing and characteristic profanity in acronym format, resolves merely the symptom of a greater problem. A man who has advocated for his political opponents to be euthanized, or for the culling of a former mayor like a feral hog, or for transgender targets to be shot, should have never even been considered for a role in local government, much less appointed. A man who championed the murder of a black man, a former elected official of the United States, and who was consequently, allegedly, reported to the FBI and Secret Service, should not have had his appointment dependent on what was expected to be a close vote. It shouldn't have even been a question whether a man who somehow knows what his favorite part of a lynching is should get removed from public office. Accountability, communication,
credibility, integrity, respect, responsibility, truthfulness. Not only did Mike Pelfrey not exhibit any of these stated values, but the City Council betrayed every last one of them when it appointed him to public service. The City Council needs to take an unflinching look at itself to figure out what it really stands for, how to avoid repeating the mistake of appointing someone with such unethical conduct, and how to earn back the trust of the citizens that it betrayed. An official code of conduct would be a crucial first step in the process.
Thank you. All right, that concludes general public comment for tonight. So moving on through the agenda, and we have on front of us a consent agenda. Can we get that posted? All right, I have had no requests to start any items, so the consent agenda is as stated in your packet and is shown on the screen. I would bring it back to council for discussion or action. Victoria.
I move to adopt the consent agenda as written.
Is there a second? Second from Rick. So it's been motioned to adopt the consent agenda. It's been second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll go through a vote. Victoria.
Yes.
Seth.
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Indra.
Yes.
All right, consent agenda passes. At this moment in time, we do have an urban renewal agency meeting scheduled, so I'd be looking for council to get a motion to adjourn and reconvene. Kathleen?
Yeah, I motion to adjourn this public meeting and go into the urban renewal.
With a second from Eric. Quick vote. Victoria?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Indra?
Yes.
All right. General City Council meeting is now adjourned, and we are convening the Urban Renewal Agency meeting. First item on the agenda is board action resolution awarding Oregon Center of Creative Learning a building rehab and restoration grant. And we have a presentation. Time out. If I had a pause button, I would push it. Are we good? Thank you very much. And I will hand it over to you for a presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council, members of the public. I'm Dana Pierce with the Economic Development Division. Today we're going to review an Urban Renewal Agency building rehab and restoration grant for the Oregon Center for Creative Learning. We also do have Sunny Spicer, the Executive Director of OCCL, on Teams tonight. We're not certain if she is going to be able to, we're going to be able to hear her, but if we can, she's available to answer questions and share any information you might want. All right, so the subject this evening is a resolution that would authorize the payment of a matching Urban Renewal Agency grant in the amount up to 25% of a total qualifying private costs for not to exceed $50,000 for fire suppression for the building at 110 Southwest 4th Street in Grants Pass. It relates to the council goals of economic growth. A little bit of background: in December of 2024, the Oregon Center for Creative Learning acquired the building at 110 Southwest 4th Street, which was the former Dutch Brothers headquarters. It was a corporate donation to support the expansion of their services into Grants Pass. And their mission is to encourage all children to learn and grow through creative play and offer quality play-based learning and family activities. Both the Children's Museum of Southern Oregon and the Ivy School are services of the Oregon Center for Creative Learning. The museum serves 120,000 or more visitors annually, and then the Ivy School has 260 slots. At this time, approximately 80 of those are going to be coming to Grants Pass. And on September 1st of this year, they anticipate that the preschool classrooms will open in downtown. The build out of the Children's Museum, however, will take about another year. So to meet building code for this childcare facility, the Oregon Center for Creative Learning must install a full fire suppression system. So that includes sprinklers, a vault, alarm system, and electrical upgrades. Providing life safety improvements to downtown buildings is an investment supported by the goals of the Grants Pass Urban Renewal Agency. And this project qualifies under the Building Rehab and Restoration Project. Expansion of their services will increase our childcare capacity here in Grants Pass, and it will help further workforce development, or further support that. Here's a map of the site. You can see it's there on the corner of G Street and 4th. I think we're all pretty familiar with this location. This is a more broad view of the site map. You can see the building itself is kind of in orange, and then on the back side there will be an outdoor space as well. But for the purposes of this grant, we're looking at the floor plan here where the installation of the fire suppression would go. We have 2 floors. This is the first level. And it just shows you the layout. In blue are the classrooms. The yellow is where the Children's Museum exhibits will exist on the first floor. And then on the second floor, the green, which is a good chunk of it, are offices. The yellow is the Children's Museum. And then you can see there's also a classroom art space on the second floor. Here are a few interior images. So you can see right now it's already under construction. They're moving walls around and creating different space. The bottom 2 pictures are upstairs, so they've opened that up to make it have a lot of space for the exhibits. And then here's a few other pictures kind of showing the different hallways that are built in to create the classrooms, the big open space in the front, and on the far right these are some of the office spaces. You can see they've got it opened up ready to install some needed fire suppression. So the cost implications here, the revenue source would be the FY26 URA budget. There were $250,000 appropriated for grant opportunities in this fiscal year. So far, $66,343 have been awarded. $183,657 are then available. The total project costs that were assessed equaled about $240,000. So 25% of that estimated allowable expense exceeds the maximum, making the grant request for $50,000. The call to action is tonight, August 6th, and it's at council discretion, or the URA board discretion. You can choose to approve the grant request for up to $50,000, modify it, or deny it, and here's a potential motion. Again, I'm here to answer any questions, and if we're able to get Sunny on the line here too, feel free to ask her questions as well.
Thank you. Did she want to make a statement first?
I could try and send her a message really quickly.
Okay, we'll proceed with questions too.
Okay.
Yeah,
that
and
sounds fine.
if she, we just wanted to afford her an opportunity to speak if she wanted to. I'll bring back to council for any questions in regards to this. Indra.
So if you could address the URA grants, it seems like we're being asked now and before to give grants to buildings that are actually quite nice already, but the owners just want to rearrange the inside to fix a different.
Are you able to hear me?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, did you want to make a statement in regards to this before we go to questions?
I'm not really able to hear you.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and if she, we just want to afford her an opportunity. A little delay there.
Okay. She doesn't have our audio on that end, so she's watching the streaming. So
Okay.
like you said, there's a delay.
All right, well, we'll just proceed with questions at this point. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Indra, sorry.
Okay, so versus giving grants to buildings that are in disrepair and really need a facelift. So when the URA grants were first made, what was the idea behind it? Was it to help with remodels or just change of space inside a nice building? Or was it more for really to uplift buildings and especially maybe downtown that are falling apart and need it? Can you address that?
I would say there's a wide range of things that fall under the grants, and one of those things is life safety type activities, like putting in fire suppression or
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
additional access
Okay,
and
so-
things like
Wait,
that. So when we're reviewing applications, we just review it against what are qualified activities. There are opportunities for some of the older buildings to also have facelifts, like what you're saying. Those are also qualifying activities under the grants.
Any further questions? Kathleen and then Victoria?
Is there any competing buildings that have come in, or this is pretty much the only one right now?
We do have another grant request this evening that we'll review after this one.
Victoria?
I think this building was donated to turn into a children's museum. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then, so they are wanting to upgrade it because with fire suppression and other things. I had the opportunity to tour this particular building, and it looked like it's going to be a really wonderful space for children, and obviously then they're going to need the fire suppression for the use that it is intended for. And it sounds like it's going to be a great space and an addition to our city. So I think I'll be happy to do it.
Yeah, we are in question period.
I did ask a question.
In the beginning, she asked if the building was donated. Any further questions? Rick?
Dana, on slide 11, talks about $183,657. That's the available money towards this $50,000, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any further questions? All right, seeing none, thank you. And sorry that we couldn't get the technology to work, but we're going to move along. So at this point, we'll open it up to public comment in regards to this topic. Anybody from the public, this is an opportunity to stand up and talk about this. Seeing none, I will bring it back to council for discussion and or action. Seth, Indra, and then Rob.
Well, this is great for downtown, and so I'm going to make a motion to approve the resolution of the Grants Pass Urban Renewal Agency awarding Oregon Center for Creative Learning a building rehabilitation and restoration grant for $50,000.
Okay, we have a motion on the table to approve the award and a second. Any further discussion? Indra, and then Rob?
Yes, I also toured. It's a great thing for our city. I agree. It is a great thing. This particular entity got the $400,000 grant from Main Street, correct? Oh.
No, they applied. They didn't receive it.
Oh, I thought they did when we went through.
When we toured, there was two that we went through that had applied, but only one of them received it, not Children's Museum.
My misunderstanding. I guess my feeling is we're looking, I mentioned it earlier, yes, it needs fire suppression. It was a donated building. I just would like to see more of our blighted or falling down buildings being renovated. I would like to see the money spread out a little more to that. And so for that reason, I'm really not in favor, although I think it's a great thing for our city.
Rob?
Just very briefly, to respond to what Indra just said, the issue with, and I agree that, blighted buildings are certainly bad for everybody's business and the general health of the neighborhood, but the fact is, to get one of these grants, you need some money and some motivation to improve your own building. So this is not like the only money that this group has invested in this building, right? This is actually a very small percentage. So anybody that wants to upgrade a blighted building typically has to have some initiative and come up with their own funds first, and then they can apply. That may be the stumbling block for many of the buildings. They don't have the initiative, or could be an out-of-area owner, or there's a lot of reasons. So, you might want to keep that in mind. But I just wanted to say that, I've toured the Medford location and seen their museum up and running, and it's extremely popular, it's extremely well run, it's very, very well thought out, it's a real attraction. And this particular, I have no doubt that this is going to be an actual anchor for our downtown. When I say anchor, I mean it's going to be an attraction to bring more people to the downtown. It's got its own large parking lot, so there's no strain on the surrounding neighborhood. It's just nothing but a benefit. And because it's going to be an anchor for decades to come, I'm very much in favor of it.
Any further discussion? Kathleen and then Rick?
I would say that we do need more things for the children here, and it's a wonderful building. It does need fire suppression. That's a safety issue, and I would be in favor of this.
All right, Rick?
I will also be voting in favor of this. I agree with the comments that were made by Rob, and I think it's just the direction downtown that we need moving forward, and encourage people to do that. Thank you.
All right, we have a current motion and a second to award. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go into a vote. Indra?
Well, knowing I had the misconception of them receiving the large grant, I'm going to vote yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
And Victoria?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Second on the agenda is resolution awarding R&B Rogue Properties Magazine Exchange and Urban Renewal Public Infrastructure and underdeveloped land grant. I'm getting tongue-tied. It must be getting late, but it's not. I apologize. I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Yes, it can definitely be a mouthful. Okay, so again, this is a public infrastructure and underdeveloped land grant for R&B Rogue Properties, also known as a magazine exchange. So this resolution would authorize the payment of a matching urban renewal grant in an amount up to the 25% of the total qualifying private project costs, not to exceed $50,000 for sewer and water laterals and fire suppression upgrades, and up to 25% of the total qualifying costs, not to exceed $94,522 for street frontage and public infrastructure improvements at 2249 Northeast Spalding Avenue in Grants Pass. So the total request is for $144,522. This relates to council goals of economic growth. So R&B Rogue Properties is actively developing the property at 2249 Northeast Spalding Avenue to support the expansion of the wholesale distribution company Magazine Exchange. This project represents a significant opportunity to expand business and industrial development in Spalding Industrial Park. The project will serve 50,000 square feet of new construction with capacity to develop 2 future industrial facilities at that site. It also extends services to an additional 17+ acres of industrial land. A little bit about the Magazine Exchange. This is their third major expansion of the company in 15 years. It's a local business that distributes a wide range of games and trading cards across the country. They provide high-quality jobs and bring business to Grants Pass. This expansion project will create 5 new jobs following the certificate of occupancy at that facility, and it will also make available an additional 20,000 square feet of industrial space at their current location for other businesses to grow and expand. So to break this down a little bit, let's look at the urban renewal plan objectives. Under section 3, goals and objectives, we have a goal 3 of redevelopment and development. And of course, objective 4 is redevelopment and the removal of underdeveloped and or blighted properties in the URA. This project meets the funding eligibility under section 5 of the capital improvement projects under 2 projects. So project 4 is the water, sewer, transportation at the Southeast Industrial, and then project 13, which is the underdeveloped land. That's where the sewer and water lateral installation and the fire suppression systems qualify. So the goals of the Grants Pass Urban Renewal Agency Plan propose that URA participation at 25% to support development and expansion of public infrastructure at Spalding Industrial Park. So that's one of the reasons we're really looking at this request here. The property, is a project, a little tongue twister myself. The priority project is also listed as a part of the Urban Renewal Agency 5-year implementation strategy. And the URA board has also expressed desire to support a project out there when a private developer comes forward, which is the case we're seeing right now. The privately owned portion of this project request qualifies under the underdeveloped land project of the Grants Pass Urban Renewal Agency Grant and Loan Program. So that's for the 25% up to a $50,000 match. This is a look at the property. It's on Northeast Spalding Avenue. It's quite a large piece, and it's at the corner there of Shannon Lane. Here are a few images of the civil construction plan. So this would be the street frontage work that is expected to be done. And here are some images of the building under construction right now. So you can see the large warehouse in the back. There's a really large office space in the front area as well. A few interior images, and we're looking inside the warehouse, and keep in mind we're really only seeing about half of the warehouse in the left image. And then just the inside where fire suppression would need to go for the office spaces there. And here are some images of the street frontage just to give you an idea of what it looks like right now. There's no sidewalks or anything like that. This was the breakdown of the financials that was presented from R&B Rogue Properties. And you can see that they've shown the cost breakdown for their street frontage improvements with the estimated 25%. And then the sewer and water laterals, as well as the fire suppression upgrades. Now, those two actually fall together under the grant program, so our total is a little bit less than what it shows here. But let's look at that breakdown here. These are the cost implications. So for the sewer and water lateral fire suppression upgrades, the estimated cost is $349,223. That falls under the Urban Renewal Plan, a project that's the underdeveloped land. That's project 13. And in our URA plan, the allocation for the 30-year period is $6 million for that project. We still have just over $5 million remaining, and we are looking at that 25% match with a max of $50,000 on that portion of the project. The second piece of this is the street storm and utility right-of-way improvements. So those estimated costs are $378,085. That falls under the Urban Renewal Plan project of the Southeast Industrial, Water, Sewer, and Transportation. And again, with the URA plan allocation, that's $5 million that's been allocated for the life of the plan. We have $4.6 million still remaining with an estimated 25% match on those costs. That would be $94,522. That brings us to that total of the total request of $144,522. Here's just another way to look at it. We'll look at our revenue source is going to be the FY26 URA budget. For the underdeveloped land portion, that falls under the Grants Pass Urban Renewal Agency grant program. Here's the breakdown. There's budgeted $250,000. There's been $116,343 awarded, including the previous grant that just was awarded, leaving $133,657 available. If this grant is awarded for $50,000, the remaining would be $83,657 for other grants for the program, future requests. And then the other portion of this is the public infrastructure. The resource is still the fiscal year 26 URA budget. There are funds available, but a supplemental budget action would be required. So that action would be for the $94,522, $50,000 from the grant program to get your total of $144,522. The call to action this evening is at your discretion. It is recommended that the URA board approve this resolution. You can modify the proposal, deny the proposal, and I am here to answer any questions. I should also mention too that Sean Ward, the developer of this project, is also here, so he's available to answer questions.
All right, thank you. Questions from council? Rick?
Thank you, Dana. Can you go back one slide to page 15? So in the supplemental budget action, is that basically borrowing money from future receipts coming in on the Urban Renewal Agency? Or how does that work?
No, it's not so much borrowing against that. It's just because the URA budget that the council approved 2 months ago, didn't specifically have the funding for this grant in the budget allocated for this particular grant. So we just essentially need to move the funding from where it is in the large category. I don't know if you remember in the URA, but there's basically one large pool of money. Most of the money is in that large pool unallocated. So we essentially are just needing an action to move it from that large pool to this. That's the supplemental piece.
Okay, thank you. I was trying to confirm that we had the money there, and it's just a matter of moving.
Yes, the money's there. It's really just a administrative action.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any further questions? All right, seeing none. I want to afford you an opportunity. Did you want to make a statement?
I'm here, so I'll...
And just state who you are again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Sean Ward. I'm one of the developers of the project. More than anything that I'd like to comment on this is just the value of the Spalding Commerce Park as a whole. I've worked over 20 years working on the developing of that with my father. We've developed 3 phases. This is basically part of the 4th phase of the project. When the mill shut down there was about 160 jobs that mill had, and everybody, rightfully so, was going through a hard time when the mill shut down here. Pre-recession, we had over 800 people employed in that same land that the Spalding mill once had. This is a great employment area. Dana mentioned, the freeing up. Not only is a new facility being built here, but now other facilities are able to go as well. The 17 additional acres that these infrastructure improvements partially serve, makes it so it's that much closer that we have other lands available. We have businesses in Grants Pass that are growing, that need to grow, and we just don't have space for them. And so these grants, 25% is a big deal. When we were working with this client, which I worked with this client for 3 years to get him to the point where he pulled the trigger to say yes. And part of these meetings with Brad that we had and different things, and Dana, to talk about these potential things were a big deal. Because when you have people trying to decide whether to grow their business or whether just to hold still, Grants Pass needs growth. We really do. And these matter not just to this client, but they matter to everybody that's potentially can grow like this guy has. This person 15 years ago was in the Ballinger industrial building in an old block building. We built him a new building. He outgrew that one. We built him another one across the street to add supplemental, and now he's outgrowing both of those and more than doubling his capacity, which is just a really great thing for the town.
Thank you.
Yep.
At this time, we're open it to public comment. Is if anybody's in the audience that wants to step up and comment in regards to this application? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to you guys for further discussion. Yes, Rick.
I have another staff question. Is this sewer, would that be pumped, or is that the grade sufficient to be gravity?
I would think Sean can answer that a little bit better. I think it's a combination. I think you have to pump off to the site to get into the gravity system, correct?
Yeah, so
Step up to the mic and pull it up to your face a little bit more, sir. Thank you.
we're actually trying to accommodate two things here. Initially, when this building is completed, it will have to pump because we don't have enough fall in Spalding Avenue. The road kind of goes up a little bit. We just don't have the grade. The city has a plan eventually to put in sewer down below this site to the railroad tracks. So we are actually putting in a pump system now. We're also putting the pipe in the ground so that when the city's new sewer line goes in below that, eventually they can go with the gravity sewer, and that the two additional sites that will potentially be built on that same lot will also hopefully eventually be served by that new sewer line.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Kathleen?
It seems like since we've been on the city council, we've heard a lot about upgrading the infrastructure on Spalding, and this is very exciting to me. I've been out there and looked at it, and it's wonderful to see something being built out there and to see that we can move forward with this. So I would be in favor of it.
Any further discussion or motion? Seth?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution of the Grants Pass Urban Renewal Agency awarding R&B Rogue Properties, Magazine Exchange, and Urban Renewal Public Infrastructure and Underdeveloped Land Grant for up to $144,522.
And we got a second from Eric. So you have a motion on the table to award the grant as well as a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go into a vote. Indra?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes?
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Victoria?
Yes.
All right, resolution passes. Thank you. I would bring it back to the dais for a motion to adjourn Urban Renewal Agency and reconvene City Council meeting. Victoria?
I motion to adjourn urban renewal and return to the regular meeting.
Second? Eric? Thank you. Do a quick vote. Indra?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes?
Eric?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Seth?
Yes.
Victoria? All right,
Yes.
Sorry, didn't even give you a chance to answer. Urban Renewal Agency meeting is adjourned, and we are reconvening City Council meeting. Next on the agenda for the City Council meeting is matters for mayor, council, and staff. So bring it back to the dais for councilors. Any items for discussion? Indra, and then Eric. Indra.
I'll start with one thing and let Eric go, but I'm curious, just because we've gotten correspondence on this, and I think I heard that things were happening with Devil's Slide and we were taking action on that. Can anyone update us on that?
I'll weigh in on that a little bit because I actually coordinated with Commissioner Barnett, and there was a coordination between myself and Commissioner to rally up the sheriff and have some coordination with our police department as well as our fire department. The Devil's Slide was found to be on a property that was owned by railroad. It was within county jurisdiction. It was outside the city jurisdiction. The last I've heard is that and I would encourage you to reach out to commissioners for verification, but the police department, I believe, our sheriff's department has done a sweep, and currently there's no residents or temporary residents on that site, and they are working on some cleanup efforts with community organizations, but that was the last I heard. Eric.
I've got a few things. First thing is I wanted to talk to the chief and see if there was anything that due to public comment there, if there was anything that, any updates that you had regarding anything that was discussed there with the public comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Counselor. And I just want to start off by saying that I appreciate the frustration in the community. I'm equally as frustrated. And I also think it's important, and we talk about this quite often, that our police officers run call to call and they're pretty busy. And this particular incident, I did some research on it myself on Saturday and did a little bit of extra digging. And I do know that this call came in at about 5:15 on Friday, and also recognizing Friday afternoon at Grants Pass is pretty busy. So, and it's also shift change. So we've got guys coming on and guys getting off, and we work 12-hour shifts as well. And we're pretty busy, especially towards the end of the day. But I also know, and I'll just say, I also know that an officer decided to self-dispatch early. That's the kind of cops we have. He self-dispatched early and was unable to reach the complainant. He tried to reach out to that particular complainant. And I don't know who called, whether it was Bob, whether it was Katie, whether it was Brian, whether it was Brock. I'm not sure who actually called. But I know we tried, and then they didn't answer the phone. So we're going to other things, we're busy. There were several calls holding that were higher priority, and nobody was in immediate danger. And I'm just as appalled that a senior was hit with a rock, her walker, absolutely appalling. But I also know that Officer Beard, in fact, one of our cops, did follow up the next day and reached out and spoke with Bob and talked about the incident in detail. And in fact gave him what we call an Axon Standards link. It's our body camera. It's also technology that we afford the public to be able to provide us with evidence that they may or may not have. Whether he did that or not, I just don't know. I also know that our officer interviewed several people on both sides, because we have to be fair and impartial when we do investigations. And we interviewed a lot of people and were unable to determine who did it. And I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. I'm just trying to explain what happened. And my understanding, there was not an hour-and-a-half delay. There might have been a 30 to 45-minute delay. And unfortunately, that's not uncommon with low-level offenses. I'm not trying to minimize this at all. But I'm also trying to remind the community and share what we do on a regular basis. And I know I've had conversations about pretty gross and heinous calls that we deal with on a regular. In fact, when I was doing research on this particular incident on Saturday, there was some discussion about Baker Park and propane tanks in Baker Park, et cetera, et cetera. And while I was communicating with the sergeant on duty, later on in the day, he apologized to me because he didn't get back to me in a timely fashion because he was in a fight. And then he gave me the information I needed. And all of that to say, I'm not making excuses. I'm just sharing that we're busy, and I understand everybody's frustration. There's a lot of people incredibly frustrated, to include me and all of our officers. And we try our very best every single day. In fact, we did initial follow-up on Baker Park, and we removed, I think, 5 propane tanks, which is a misdemeanor offense because this council turned that into a criminal offense. And one individual received a criminal citation for being in possession of 4 of them. And those tanks were removed. We probably also noticed, on top of everything else that's going on around here, that Kesterson is pretty bad, let's say. And I've had some citizen reach out to me and share a lot of frustration, and I did some follow-up on that as well. And we have done a lot of work there, let's just say, and I think you might even notice it looks a little bit better. I could probably guarantee if you went to Baker Park tomorrow, it would look a little bit better. What does that really mean in the big scheme of things? That just depends on who's observing what they see. But I did want to share that with this council when we talk about this thing. But also, too, it's important that I think you know and community knows that I and the team, we as a group, we meet with Park Watch, we meet with community, It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, I meet with everybody and we talk and have open dialogue. That particular event also, I responded to 2 of the Park Watch individuals on Saturday and shared some dialogue back and forth. And all of that to say, I appreciate people are frustrated, but I think it's important to know there's a lot going on and there's many sides to stories. And I don't want to minimize anybody, but there was a lot more going on, and I think it's important to share that. Will we ever find out who did this? Maybe not. The cameras in Baker Park are not great. That's why you have allotted me additional funding through an LB to upgrade our surveillance cameras throughout the city, along with the Dollar Mountain radio project infrastructure that's moving forward as well. There's a lot of great things happening. I'm absolutely excited from what happened on Monday, and I look forward to working with the city manager and the rest of the team about getting more cops so we can be even more consistent and see those numbers increase on proactive work that's happening around here. I am incredibly proud of our officers and also this city and its residents who've had to deal with an awful lot. And if people are frustrated and mad, I am okay with being the sounding board, and I'm happy to meet with people and explain what happens on a day-to-day basis, whether they want to do a ride-along or just come in and have a chat with me. It's pretty busy out there. So hopefully that answered your question, Councillor.
Thank you so much. That was excellent, and the city really appreciates what the police do for, I mean, I certainly do what the police do for the city. I mean, I don't think anybody envies that position that you are all in based on what's going on here in the state of Oregon with House Bill 3115. It's absolutely crazy, and thank you for that. I'm going to talk about real quick, it was mentioned what's going to happen after the injunction is lifted. The only solution is for the citizens to, well, it's one of the solutions, one of the major solutions is to try to repeal HB 3115. That's an obvious. The momentum has to keep on going. Otherwise, we're stuck in the same concerns that the public had there. So I would just highly encourage the public to keep the momentum going with repealing HB 3115. It's absolutely one of the major things that we can do to fix these things. The last thing I want to talk about is the lady that came up with, I believe, the ice cream truck, Valerie Blackwood. I wanted to ask the staff if there's any submission for any kind of application regarding her request to drive in the parks.
Well, I can start, and maybe the city manager has something to add, but the council did approve a pilot program a few years ago to see how, an ice cream truck in a public park might work. It was intended as kind of a limited pilot project from the beginning. I'm going to be looking, I took a note tonight to kind of check on the details of this letter that it sounds like she just got a couple weeks ago or recently. But it is a commercial activity. And, as the city's ordinance municipal code is currently written, a commercial activity, profit-making activity happening in a public park is something that does require council approval. And so, until that code is changed, that's what the staff is going to be enforcing.
Is there anything in process right now to bring it forward to the council, or just, I'm curious, I don't know what the process is.
There's not. In process, there's not, but of course, a lot of these policy things are, also driven by council as well. So that it certainly would be a pretty significant conversation that we would need to have, because, you really get into defining what that commercial activity looks like. I mean, is it somebody doing a class with 10 people, teaching them how to paint, and they make $5 off of each person, or is it, on a routine basis making, so there's just a lot of gradations that, you have to consider when you're doing it. So at this point, it is
we don't allow it unless we, bring a specific request to you.
I don't know if anybody here would be willing to request a workshop on it. I don't know. I'm open to it.
I had that in my comments that I was going to speak to tonight too. So yeah, it would be good to make sure we get that on an agenda. Yes.
Thank you for all the discussion.
Any further discussion? Kathleen, and then Indra?
So a little while back, I had requested some outreach to ODOT to see how they could maybe help us with some cleanup around the Baker area. And when this lawsuit gets closed and we get Baker back, could that discussion be happening to be ready to enlist them?
Yeah, Wade's been talking with them all along, and they do routine sweeps under there, but there is a limited amount that they can do. As soon as it's cleared out, I guarantee they'll be there to help us out.
Indra?
Oops, I just wanted to touch on some comments, but I'll first start with the ice cream. That was hard to hear, but I think way back at the months ago, we talked about commercial activity in one of the parking lots, and I think we decided no. So it does open a can of worms, and it is a big discussion because it's not just one ice cream truck you're talking about. Then anybody could go in there and sell whatever. So that's a huge discussion that we certainly can have. But I wanted to touch on some of the comments. We also got correspondence about, it was sad to hear of some people saying they're disappointed with the homeless situation and they won't be returning to our community. And then the person, I don't know if it's the same one that Shoni talked about coming through Baker Park and were horrified. They're on vacation and have to see that. But I would submit that it's not a homeless versus non-homeless issue. It's really a law-abiding citizen versus non-law-abiding issue. And now that the injunction is lifted and we can clear that, I think we're going to have to prove overall as a city that we're just not going to allow lawlessness to happen here. And I think that's how it's going to be straightened out, because they were asking where will they go, and I think a lot of people are asking where will they go, but if they want to be here, they can be here, but they're not going to be committing crimes here. And I think that's what we're all looking for, and that's why we at our workshop want to give more money to public safety, so the police can have more resources to crack down on the lawlessness that's going on in our town. Because money is not the answer, pouring money into the situation, but it's making the lawbreakers accountable for their actions. That's what I really feel. The food pantries for children, that was new to me. I don't think the city has anything to do with that. So I don't think that's something we can address, but probably the nonprofits that are running the food pantries would be the ones to address on that. And I did just speak with one of the leaders of the Back to the 50s, and I think it would be amazing to bring the whole week back and have it in the park, and I think a lot of people want that, and hopefully there's a concerted effort with the city and other groups to get that going. And then I have one positive, nice thing that is exciting. It's about Lemonade Day. So Lemonade Day is Friday, August 9th, 12 to 3, and there are over 200 young entrepreneurs that are going to have lemonade stands, and there's judging and best product and most creative stand. And I don't know if any other counselors are judging that, but that should be really fun for our community.
Thank you. Rob?
Andrew, could you clarify that? August 9th is a Saturday, so is lemonade on Saturday, or could you clarify? If it's on Friday, that's the 8th.
It's on Saturday.
It's on
Thank
Saturday the 9th?
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay.
It says Friday here.
Beyond that,
Thank you.
yeah, I'd like to see staff bring forward a resolution that states that any adjustments to compensation for employee groups within the city must be heard as an individual council action. And that would prevent a situation that we had a few months ago where we had a large raise package go on the consent calendar. So again, I'd like to see a resolution to that effect, that any employee group, and that would include union or non-union, any employee group raises must be heard as an individual council action. But hopefully there's other councilors who would agree with that.
I would agree.
Do you want to comment? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we can bring it forward at Nick's business meeting to represent that request.
Thank you, Rob. Any further discussion? Victoria?
Yeah, we've several times had the issue of the nonprofits to come up, and I think, I'm not certain there's anything that City Council can do about that, but I would love to see if we could have that topic added to a workshop, just to see if there's any way that nonprofits could, I think we were going to have them register or a while back. But I'm not sure if we stopped that process because we found that we couldn't do that. So, but I would love to see, there are so many that operate in our area that I think it would be helpful just to look at that and see if there's anything that we could do. There were several citizens who came up and discussed that. So I think, and I think the sentiment was that there are many nonprofits that are operating, and I don't know if a coordination or I would like to see it on a workshop, so that we could look to see what it is that we could do to address the citizens' concerns, that there are so many operating, and they seem to, from many citizens' point of view, be adding to the problems that we're seeing out there. So I think that would be something important to look at a future workshop. Again, I'm not sure that there's anything that we could do about it. It just might be a legal issue that's beyond our purview. But I would also like to address very briefly, we were going to have a vote tonight to remove someone, and there were some comments about that from the audience as well. And for me, it wasn't a tough vote at all, and so I wasn't going to say anything, but it wasn't a tough vote for me at all. I would not have voted to remove someone from, I don't believe the government has the right to remove someone from a seat for a speech, even speech that I totally want to qualify and say that I found divisive and did not serve the public discourse whatsoever. But I did research into, and there are 3 Supreme Court cases, and one that even addressed someone who the argument came up that people did not have the right to be on a committee, but there was a Supreme Court case that went against that sentiment. So I just wanted to take a moment to speak up for free speech a little bit. So the United States Supreme Court, as I said 3 times, has said that government may not remove people from a position for their speech. So I think that just might be something that we think about in the future. I think it's also probably appropriate, as someone said, to have, I don't know if there should be a code of conduct for budget for any committee. That might be a good idea. But I would defend the speech rights of someone who posted similar comment from the other side of the political spectrum, because the First Amendment should not bend to political affiliation, even when it is speech that we find repugnant, and that is what the First Amendment actually exists for. So I just wanted to bring that up, because it wasn't a tough vote for me. I would not have voted because I think it goes against the Constitution. So I really wanted to say that. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Kathleen?
I wanted to see if this was the right place to ask for an explanation of a term I saw in a committee meeting called track trails installed in city parks. I'm not familiar with that term or what that might be. Is this the right place to do that?
It may be, but I certainly don't have the answer tonight.
Okay. Do you know who I could be referred to ask? Josh?
Yeah,
or-
we can definitely get back to you on that.
Okay.
We can.
Yeah, it was in
look
one of
into
the
that.
committee
Okay.
minutes
Do you
about.
know, was it the Parks Advisory Committee?
Yeah, probably,
Okay.
on track trails
Okay,
being installed.
all right, will do.
Okay, any further discussion from council? All right, seeing none, staff, anything to add?
I don't know if I'm going to steal Karen's thunder or not. I was going to mention, okay, then I'm not going to mention it. Never mind. I just want to say thank you before she talks then.
Okay,
So last week was our fair booth, GP Jeopardy. We had 1,118 people go through our booth. And Kathleen and Jason's shift had the most at 125.
excellent. Excellent. That is a great contribution to our community, I think. I personally had 2 kids at the fair, so I was there every single day. And every single day I made my appearance at the booth, and it was always packed, and I think it was received well by the community, and always is. And I commend you guys for staff for doing that, and keep it up. It was awesome. I think it was a great immersion into the community, and the community got a lot out of it, I believe. So thank you very much.
We have people that come that every day, because we change the questions every day, and every time they're like, I wait for this all year. It's really cool.
And we should give a shout out to Josh Newman, who was there a lot.
Yes, thank you.
And a shout out to Karen for setting it all up.
Yes.
Thank you. It was a good job.
Yes, thank you. All right, anything else? All right, seeing none, I'm going to look back at you guys for a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
And we have a second from Rick. Everybody, yay? Perfect, we are adjourned. Thank you very much for your support and contribution tonight.